devastating, shocking, and frightening. There's no end to the raw power of nature when it comes to flooding and storming. Hang on, as here comes the scariest, most chaotic flood moments of all time. The 9.1 earthquake in Japan caused a giant tsunami back in 2011. The residents of Sendai, this city in Japan, only had 8 minutes of warning before a tsunami hit. Can you imagine that? 8 minutes? And there's this video that captured the exact moment the tsunami came crashing across the Sendai airport. It's insane. In just a matter of minutes, the whole area looked like it was in the middle of the ocean. Now here's something you don't see every day. There was this anomaly in the mountains where a massive amount of mud came flooding down due to hail. People heard the noise a few minutes before, but they had no idea of the magnitude of what was coming their way. It was like a crazy mudslide taking over everything in its path. Ever wondered why waterfront apartments on the first floor are cheaper? Well, it's not just the view. It's the possibility of unexpected guests swimming in unannounced. It's like having your own private aquarium without the need for a ticket. Now, you've seen floods wash away motorcycles and cars off the streets, but entire trains? Nope, not in New Zealand. This flash flood took everyone by surprise. Mother Nature sure knows how to keep us on our toes. Next, we have this insane moment from the Philippines, where a tsunami crashed through a village during a typhoon. I mean, talk about adding insult to injury. As if the typhoon wasn't enough, Mother Nature had to throw in a tsunami for good measure. During a flood, it's important to stay calm and remember to stay human. It's not the time to unleash your inner mermaid or fish impersonation skills. Keep your feet on dry land and ride out the waves like a champ. Over 1,300 houses were destroyed by severe flooding in China. But thankfully, everyone was evacuated in time. It's a reminder of the power of nature and the importance of preparedness. Mother Nature doesn't mess around. Check out this crazy video of a guy giving advice on how to escape a flooded car. And guess what? He's actually in a flood while recording the video. Talk about living life on the edge. He's like the hero we need but don't deserve, showing us how to stay calm and get to safety. The video even shows him quickly rolling down the window and climbing on top of the car safely. Talk about resourcefulness. And if you thought Mother Nature was done showing off, think again. Check out this video of tourists getting a joyride from Mother Nature herself. I bet they never expected that kind of thrill when they signed up for a normal day at the beach.
Oh, she's going. Oh.
You won't believe this. There was this bridge that was supposed to be tsunami-proof. It was built to withstand the fiercest waves Mother Nature could throw at it. But oh man, was it in for a surprise. When the tsunami hit, it didn't stand a chance. The waves crashed against it with all their might, and before you could say tsunami-proof, the bridge was washed away like a toy in a bathtub.
Oh man, it's washing it away! Look at that!
Imagine the sheer force of water needed to transform a river into a torrent of rocks. It's like nature's own rock concert, complete with drums and guitars made of stone. Check out this jaw-dropping footage and prepare to be amazed. You won't believe how fast a flood can fill up a basement. It's like a magic trick, but with water instead of rabbits. One moment, everything seems fine, and the next, you're swimming in an indoor pool you never signed up for. Oh, here's a close call, friends. A part of a road collapses just behind a parked car due to a flash flood. Thank goodness for those quick-thinking bystanders who stopped in and saved the day. Talk about being in the right place at the right time. In New Albany, they had to close off Binford Park due to flooding. I mean, talk about a wet and wild day at the park. It's like the water decided to take over and have its own little adventure. And speaking of floods, remnants of Hurricane Ida wreaked havoc in New York City subway. People were freaking out, trying to navigate through waist-high water. It's like a real-life version of the day after tomorrow, or something. In North Carolina, there was this vacant house that thought it could go incognito during a water storm. But boy, was it wrong. The gigantic wave swept in, washing away the entire house in a hilarious turn of events. It was like watching a cartoon with the house trying to tiptoe away from the storm, but failing miserably. Lesson learned: you can't outsmart Mother Nature. She always has the upper hand. Now let's talk about tsunamis. We all know they're not something to joke about, but this video caught the moment a tsunami hit a beach, and let me tell you, it was intense. The wave started building up, and then BAM! It hit the beach with full force, flooding everything in its path. It was like a scene out of an action movie, but without the superheroes to save the day. Living in a cozy mountain town is everyone's dream, until it gets flooded and turns into a waterfall town. But hey, at least the view is pretty spectacular, right? Nature's way of keeping us on our toes. Back in August of 2021, Indiana experienced a freak storm that dumped 7 inches of rain in just 1 hour. One school, northeast of Dibwa Intermediate School, got hit hard, and security camera footage captured the moment the building got flooded. Desks, books, and furniture were swept away like they were in a water park ride. The level of destruction was mind-boggling, but thankfully no one was inside the school at the time, so no injuries were reported. Next, let's head over to California's Death Valley, where they experienced some epic flash flooding. I'm talking about record rainfall that's equivalent to more than 6 months' worth of rain falling in just a few hours. Can you imagine? Cars were getting trapped and nearly 1,000 people were stranded. It was like a scene straight out of an action-packed thriller movie. Now friends, floods don't always spell disaster. Believe it or not, some people actually save money during floods. Talk about making lemonade out of lemons, right? In Japan, dozens of people had to be airlifted to safety after severe floods hit. Can you imagine being stuck in that situation? It's like a scene straight out of an action movie with helicopters swooping in for daring rescue missions. So, picture this: a flash flood in the middle of the desert. Yup, you heard that right, the desert. And this poor driver in the white pickup wasn't prepared at all. It's like his truck was possessed by evil or something. More than I believe in myself sometimes. Carousels may be a fun place to ride, but they're not the best spot to hide during a flood. It's like trying to play hide and seek in plain sight, but with water as the seeker. So much for blending in with the horses and unicorns. There's this footage in China. It's like a scene straight out of a disaster movie. The flood just engulfs the whole city, taking over the streets like it owns the place. And get this, a truck and a house guest washed away. Can you believe it? It's like Mother Nature decided to show off her superpowers or something. This could even happen in a flooded area and no one would even bat an eye. It's like the earth is vomiting something disgusting, like mud vomit. Ugh. If you know what this is, please tell us in the comment section below. I'm dying to know. And check out this little chapel waterfall. It's like a magic trick gone wrong or something. One moment it was a peaceful little waterfall, and the next, it turned into a roaring beast. It's like it grew a couple of sizes after that torrential downpour. I guess even waterfalls can have a growth spurt, huh? But wait, there's more. Check out this hospital in Nebraska that couldn't hold up against the relentless flood outside. The doors and windows were no match for Mother Nature's wrath, and the hospital ended up looking like a scene straight out of a disaster movie. Now, let's talk about the flood in Pakistan. I gotta tell ya, that was one determined flood. It didn't let anything stand in its way. It's like it turned everything in its path into a trampoline. Cars, trees, houses, you name it. It's like the flood was having its own little bouncing party. I wonder if it had some water balloons. Yeah, and snacks too. Next up, we have this jaw-dropping footage from northern India, where a river flooded and washed away an entire bus. Luckily, no one was inside at the time, but still, talk about a wild ride on public transportation. Who knew a bridge built high above the water level could end up floating? It's like a bridge with a secret talent for dancing, but not exactly in a graceful way. It's a reminder that even man-made structures can succumb to the power of nature. Speaking of crazy events, you've got to check out this reporter during Hurricane Ida. I mean, talk about bravery. This guy was out there reporting in the midst of crazy winds. It's like he's defying gravity or something. And guess what? The place was about to flood too. What a hero, right? And then there's this basement window that just couldn't handle the pressure. The floods outside were just too much for it to handle, and down it went. It's like that window just wanted to take a little swim in the floodwaters and join the party outside. But hey, when the floods come knocking, you gotta be prepared to say goodbye to your basement window, right? Next, we've got heavy rains in India that caused widespread flooding. I mean, seriously, just look at this whole country submerged underwater. It's like a scene out of a crazy disaster movie. There was even a house that got destroyed in the midst of it all. Mother Nature was definitely showing off her waterworks that day. The Yellow River Reservoir shell is kept safe by releasing water during flood season. But can you imagine the chaos if the dam were to breach? It would be like opening the floodgates of an epic water park, but with much higher stakes. Rain in a desert is usually the cause for celebration, but not this time for an Indian city. The rain brought more than it took, and the unexpected deluge turned the streets into rivers. It was a case of too much of a good thing taken to the extreme. Oh boy, talk about some wild weather. In Texas, there were heavy floods that took down a whole bridge. Yeah, you heard that right. The power of Mother Nature was on full display as those floods just swept that bridge away like it was nothing. It's like watching a real-life action movie, but with water. Good thing nobody was on the bridge at the time, or else it would have been a real bridge over a troubled water situation, if you know what I'm saying. Oh boy, it was like one wild ride in Bulgaria as this badass car tore through the icy flooded roads like a boss. The driver had nerves of steel as they skillfully maneuvered through the treacherous conditions. Heavy rains in United Arab Emirates turned the city into a maze of waterways. Forget about cars, boats were the only way to get around. It's like a modern-day version of Venice with skyscrapers instead of gondolas. Tiger Leaping Gorge may sound like an adventurous destination, but during monsoon season, it's a whole different story. The river's bottom is 4 kilometers down, making it a terrifying place to fall. It's definitely not for the faint of heart, or those with a fear of heights. Imagine this, friends. You just bought your dream car, and then look out the window only to see it submerged in water. Talk about a major buzzkill. But hey, maybe some cars just want to have a little fun at the water park too, right? Oh man, you wouldn't believe the crazy tsunami that hit Japan. It was like something out of a movie, but definitely not a fun one. This monstrous wave swept through the city, leaving destruction and devastation in its wake. Cars were tossed around like toys, and it was a real mess. Mother Nature sure knows how to make an entrance, that's for sure. But don't worry, everyone pulled together and started the cleanup process. It was definitely a wild experience, though. Okay, friends, brace yourself for the heaviest rains South Koreans have ever seen. And guess what? Only cars were affected, so no need to worry about getting drenched yourself. Whew! While some folks are busy finding oil in their backyards, this lucky old man stumbled upon a giant pool of water. Who needs an expensive swimming pool when you've got nature's surprise gifts, right? Whoa, talk about the power of heat waves. This concrete bridge in Pakistan got toppled due to a heat wave that melted glaciers and caused a flood. It just goes to show that Mother Nature can be one heck of a force to reckon with. Now, let's talk about some monster waves in Spain. I mean, seriously, these waves were absolute beasts. It's like they were auditioning for a role in a Hollywood blockbuster movie. They were crashing against the shore with so much force, and it was like the ocean was showing off its muscles or something. I wouldn't be surprised if Aquaman himself came out riding one of those waves. And then there are folks who are just so done with this year already that they can't be bothered by anything, not even a flood. Can't blame them though. Hang in there, folks. Better days are coming. Oh man, this Chucky railway bridge just couldn't catch a break. This old-timer has been standing strong for a century, but this flash flood was just too much for it to handle. It's like the bridge said, "All right, I've had enough. I'm out." Luckily, nobody was on the bridge at the time, so no harm was done. But hey, talk about going out with a bang, right?